Let's take a look if we see the Scylla one more time in game number 2. Picks and bans. Torpedo again will have first pick.
All right, I'm gonna finish off your point, right? If you're Panthera and you do that, hey man, you're Panthera, right?
Yeah.
Who's gonna knock you for it?
Yeah, I mean it's all relative. Context is key. Giannis though, no keys for those portals. He'll be taken off, and Khepri as well. Fnatic really don't like the bug.
Athena banned here last time, but no, Torpedo going to be locking away Jiffy's Naja. So the god,
Well
he's
done.
probably, I think he's been most comfortable on this god. I think 2 of his best performances were against Torpedo, both just now and last week when they faced off. Both times it was game 1. And off of that, we'll have to see, you know, does he go the Thor, which he hasn't seen as much success on, or what does he do? And now Torpedo, they're actually not going to elect to go the Apollo first pick here with Athena left open.
Yeah, Torpedo have traditionally banned Giannis and Athena, Giannis and Athena, Giannis and Athena, and this time they're sort of strong-armed into banning out the Naja, so they pick Athena with their first choice, and Fnatic respond in kind with picking up Apollo. Not only, you know, this is the 1-2 punch. Sure, you're taking it away from Gamehunter, but
still
this is Realzx, one of his #1 gods.
Thor going to be locked in for Jifffy as well. So like I said, the performances haven't really been there on Thor. A lot of whiffed ultimates. It's going to be a lot on him. You know, can he carry over that game 1 momentum where he was hitting everything? Yep. He hit almost everything. And he's going to have to do the same here as Hun Batz and Hou Yi locked in. So a lot of kind of zoning ultimates, or kind of this like space creating ultimates where it's very hard to fight into.
Bobat has always had a good Hun Batz. You know, I've been lightly following this player for years, both SPL, Challenger Cup, otherwise. Hun Batz has always been a big part of what NinjaBobat can bring, and very, very excited to see the Hun Batz on Torpedo.
Even when he wasn't in the meta, he still rocked him.
Exactly, and he's always and that's the thing. When a player is able to recognize the strengths of a character before they hit the meta, I always get interested. Hun Batz. And, you know, I talked to NinjaBobat, and well, I mean, fear no evil. It's an excellent team fight ultimate. Why wouldn't I want to play it? And now everybody understands that, so.
Raw. Isis locked away by Fnatic, so don't want the early game pressure of Isis. They banned this away last time as well, I believe. And then the Raw. We haven't seen too many mid players play it. It's mostly been Cherio who's kind of found success with it.
That Raw ban's for Gamehunter. That's a Gamehunter Raw ban.
Really?
That is a Gamehunter Raw ban. Maybe I'm wrong. I think that's a Gamehunter Raw ban. He's brought that, and we know that Gamehunter really just doesn't adhere to any sort of meta.
No.
At all, ever.
You know, and that's what's surprising to me, too, is Torpedo, they've actually played pretty meta picks in the Soul Lane outside of that Apollo. There was a lot of talks preseason about his Chronos and his Hou Yi, and we haven't seen him bring any into the SPL just yet. Soul locked in. So, who knows? Last pick, we could see a mid laner.
Yep.
It could be a warrior for Gamehunter. I don't want it to be a I want to see a Hou Yi in solo, man. I do. I just want to see how he uses it. Nah, it's going to be Bellona.
We'll see Bellona.
You're boring, Gamehunter. Come on.
We'll see Bellona for Gamehunter. Soul in the mid lane, again. We'll just have to see if it changes in this game.
I don't know. I just don't like it. Works out for teams, so you can't really knock it too hard. But I just haven't been a fan. It's
you just don't like it.
It's like it's really good for team fights in the middle lane, but unfortunately, a lot of the team fights are happening around the mid harpies for the first 10 minutes, and then after 10 minutes, well, the hunters are rotating anyway, right? Like bring the soul out. Who knows though? We'll see if they can make it work. Tier for Maniac to match up against the Bellona.
I think the Hun Batz will also be a good look with the soul. Fear no evil works well with just all the damage that Soul's able to put out. You're slowed, you're CC'd.
One thing too.
What's that?
Not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. But I mean, Hun Batz ultimate Fear no evil, you place it in the center, you direct where the players go. They're going directly away from the center. You can line the soul ults up with that.
What are you saying, that's easy?
No, it's not easy.
I'm just messing with you.
Soul ult is hard enough to hit off of a stun, right?
Yeah,
Someone stuns someone, you're like, where do I place this?
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And at this level of play, the Hun Batz players understand that. They understand that how the totem works and the positioning. And like I said, NinjaBobat, always excited to see him on the Hun Batz. Expect that as well. Red pot for the monkey. So we might see some aggressive nature. And there you go. Mid lane, Hou Yi. We're not going to see the soul in the long lane, though.
I'm telling you. This is awesome, too, because you can get the nasty bounces where it's just like a little bit luck, right? There is skill in lining up Hou Yi bounces, but sometimes when the fights break it out, it's a little bit lucky to hit the double and triple bounces. And even at level 3, 4, 5, right? If you can 2 or 3 man shot, like you can hit someone for like 80% of their life this early on.
Look how lucky he just was there getting the triple bounce on the back camps.
Yeah, that was real luck and definitely not pre-planned at all.
I don't know. I like, you watch these players and I don't know. I think there's a lot of planning going on.
There's a lot of kill potential here in this lane as well. Hou Yi mixed with Hun Batz, not until level 5, but just those double, just mass AoE ultimates are so hard to fight into. Golden, or yeah, Throwing Dagger should help them secure that, so Torpedo gotta find the mid camps as well.
Hou Yi is one of the hunters that hasn't seen much mid lane play. The #1 mid lane hunter is still definitely Neath. That's the sort of the default, but we've seen
Medusa is probably the second highest, I would say.
We've seen Dusa, we've seen Uller, and then some of the ones that I like a little bit less. We've seen the Apollo,
yeah.
And Hou Yi's gonna make the here. Did we see the Chiron this year? I think we saw the Chiron.
Once, Yaman played it.
It was Yaman on the Chiron. So a lot of the hunters have been played there in the mid lane, and with the advent of Throwing Dagger, clear is not an issue for anybody.
Maniac. Pressured out here by Gamehunter early on, but he is level 3 now, and that's kind of the time where it's like, okay, Tier's online. He can switch stances, heal up.
Yep.
Doesn't worry too much about the lane. As long as he doesn't get ganked pre-5, which we have seen some teams actually gank Tiers at level 2, and it is very successful.
No teleport for Tier just yet. He'll probably buy that.
Oh, no, Murrdurr. Actually, in a good spot. I thought we were going to see Realzx be a little bit more aggressive there, but Moex and Murrdurr find their way to safety.
Moex did something very important there. Moex put himself on the right side of the lane, which drew Fnatic to the right side instead of the mid, so that the potential to block the preemptive strike, the dash, out of Athena was gone. Both members of Fnatic were shaded over the right side of the lane so Athena could dash back to safety. Small things, but positioning make the change in the lane.
Bobat gonna hit 5 off these back camps. Now it's time to play for Hun Batz. If he wants to make a gank attempt, now's the time to go. Pre-5 Hun Batz, pretty bad. And he actually bought this, you mentioned earlier, he bought this red pot just to kind of survive the early game pressure coming out of Thor, who also has a red pot, right? It's just Thor is so strong, levels 1 through 5, that very few junglers can match up against, unless you have something that can kind of stun out the Berserker's barrage. And Hun Batz says none of that.
Not at all. And with that in mind, the red pot crit from Hun Batz is gnarly.
It's like 120 something at level 1.
I love this. Torpedo went to the back camps to try and steal him, and then whether they were there or not, they waited, expecting the rotation from Fnatic. They were looking for the intercept with the Fear No Evil, and the ricochets in the jungle are nasty. So Fnatic, again, don't take the bait. Torpedo has been trying to bait Fnatic into some spots, both in game #1 and game #2, and Fnatic just aren't having it.
And I think a lot of that is because they've been watching Fnatic, and Fnatic have been very baitable, right? Yeah. Especially Jifffy. Like, Jifffy kind of baits himself sometimes. He doesn't have ward coverage, and he'll just, like, walk someone and he'll be surprised that players are, like, waiting around the corner for him. And a lot of that's SPL play, right? Regardless of scrims or anything, like, people plan more for SPL, and they hide some of their strats, like, okay, we know this guy comes around this corner at a certain time. Murrdurr gonna taunt here after Geb used his ultimate.
Quick reaction at a Korinyo gets him right out of the Cataclysm. Just as soon that the audio queue of Blink, he knows exactly who has it and where it's coming from. No one else on the side of Fnatic has Blink, so when you hear the noise, you don't have to sit there and wonder who is it. Well, it's Geb, and what's Geb gonna do after he blinks? He's gonna Kata. So
I don't know. Maybe he shields. Maybe he like blinks and then shields himself.
Blink 180 and shield his teammate in the back line.
he just like baits purification. Mid lane though, Party Monkey, he's online, and it's gonna be Korinyo over the top trying to combine. Doesn't have the damage to finish off BigManTingz just yet. Jifffy in the sky, gonna find a two-man shot as well.
And Murrdurr in some trouble one more time. Zyrhoes with the first blood. Mid laner gets credit for that one, and that's all we'll have. The quick retreat from Jifffy, and Fnatic get the turnaround kill for first blood at 4 minutes.
And big ultimate there from Jifffy.
Yeah.
Like I said, been questioning his ability to kind of hit his abilities under pressure. Right there, lands on 2 perfectly, sets up for Zyrhoes to finish him off, and just well executed counter engage.
And that was again just all about Jiffy's ability, or Fnatic's ability rather, to recognize that they have the potential for the turnaround.
And the soul engines rotate there as well. I mean, Maniac obviously doesn't help the kill out, but still there just in case the fight goes on further.
I like Torpedo's game plan. I really do. It didn't come to fruition. But I think the next time around, don't forget, Torpedo got first blood and second kill last game. So just because Fnatic put themselves on the board first doesn't really mean much of anything. This NinjaBobat Korinyo combo, I really like. I'm seeing a lot of these small ricochets that show me that the pre-planned ones, I'm seeing them, which just tells me that Korinyo has played the hell out of this Hou Yi
Yes.
mid. This isn't something that he tried once or twice in scrims. This is something that he's gone through. He knows the geometry in the mid lane, and that's gonna be a very good sign for Torpedo as the game continues.
Even clearing the wave, you can see he lines up the back archers, bounces off the wall, bounces off the other side of the wall, and then clears the back. Reuter hits the melees, and then he clears the back. Jifffy looking for an opportunity to gank Gamehunter here, but he's walked over a couple wards. Torpedo actually really like warding up these defensive spots on the bottom right. They like keeping Gamehunter alive.
They like keeping Gamehunter alive. I also think it's very important when you're playing Thor. Good wall, but it's just not enough. No stun, so not a big deal. Maniac gonna flip back, expecting a big rotation.
I think
He got Gamehunter really low, and honestly, in kill range.
What was
but
that?
Something was communicated. Something was communicated. Retreat, Maniac.
I mean, I guess he thought Hun Batz was there, but even if Hun Batz is there, you can reactionary Lawbringer ult. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to do, but Hun Batz ult does have a delay as it comes out. Especially, you can see him throw it, the animation, and he actually makes an audio cue, and you have time to ult over. But mid lane, Jifffy taken to the sky. Can he connect?
Jiffy's going to look for the low health as soon as the Athena ult is down, with a follow-up ult out of NinjaBobat. Very strong to stop the onslaught. That's a slow onto Murrdurr. No last hit available. Well played by NinjaBobat. Here comes Realzx. Misses the Athena. This could be problems for Apollo. BigManTingz with the knockup, and that'll save Apollo for the moment. But there's Bludgeon. Gamehunter. Torpedo on the board. Realzx with a mistake. Dives a little bit too hard, misses his mark, and winds up being the first kill for Torpedo.
Moek's going to secure these mid-harpies as well, and that was just miscommunication coming up from Fnatic. I mean, Realzx dives down into the tower, into an Athena, and his team doesn't even, like, he immediately draws tower aggro, and his team doesn't follow up in any sense of the matter, so I don't know exactly what happened, but that was a breakdown of Fnatic comms, clearly.
I'm actually going to disagree and just say that was just Realzx messing up, because so Realzx dives on the tower, right, and he misses the Athena. He already has tower aggro. Coming into the tower as a teammate isn't going to help him. You're not going to take away the tower aggro.
You could possibly peel though, right? You could, like, the Geb knockup happened on the Hun Batz, but like maybe that happened sooner, and you can either turn around kill or he's able to get out of the tower a little bit sooner. Like, it just. So I don't know if
I'll go with you, but I'm still gonna, if there was a communication breakdown, it was because Realzx didn't mention to his team that he was going to go that far. I think that was just a very unfortunate Apollo ultimate, and whether it was the communication or lack thereof from Realzx, I think that you got to look at the Hunter in that situation. And I understand the frustration of just trying to get that low health, but didn't quite pan out. So now we're all even 1-1 up here. Realzx with a rare misstep. The Urchin being built here for Geb, so he's scared of both schools of magic, both magical and physical. Very afraid of what Soul can do in that long lane.
And you typically want to build Urchin early on if you're going to build it. The later it goes, the worse it gets, right? I mean, I even mentioned Maniac in the last game, last item purchasing it. Probably wasn't the best, but still, it was an instant boost in health and a little bit of all protection. So he needed the health because he didn't really have a base outside of the Mid-Guardian. Here, though, Geb gonna more than likely get it going early because we have seen these teams willing to fight and duke it out. So you want to get the stacks online as soon as you can, because gold efficiency, it's not worth it at 0 stacks. I'm actually not sure when it's worth it exactly, but
3 stacks is when it starts coming online. 3 to 4 really start to make an impact. And I won't argue against the late game Urchin because more people are just dying in those late game engagements, but it's just such a powerful item to have early on, because of how many protections it winds up giving at full stack. So definitely want to build that a little bit earlier than not. Korinyo, Murrdurr, and friends here looking for the mid camps. This taunt will wind up as an engagement, and BigManTingz very low gets the cat off. There's the knockup, and there's Maniac out of nowhere with the Fearless hit onto the top, and the Lawbringer not going to find the kill, but Zyrhoes will. Mid laner picks it up. Jifffy low, teleport out, follow, jumped on. Korinyo gets the kill on a Jifffy, and NinjaBobat now in some trouble. Maniac with no mana, very low, is both the support and the jungle. And they're going to get away because of the lack of mana on the solo lane.
Oh, the double snipe. Maniac not only takes out one, but Zyrhoes as well. And NinjaBobat picked up by Realzx. I mean, Torpedo, it looked like they had a potential for 3 players to get out, but then all 3 players line up And Fnatic, they just hit their skill shots. They're going to be rewarded with the Tier 1 tower as well. Gold Fury potentially if they want to go to it, because no one's spawning outside of Gamehunter for at least another 10. Break it down for me. I want you to break it down for me.
There's no breakdown. The teleport monkey was just not the right choice. 5 HP, like 1% HP, and you take that monkey to kill somebody with one overhand smash. You got to live for overhand smash because it's a long ability with a long channel time, and nobody on the enemy team is going to die from that one ability with your level 2 Jotuns. I don't know. Curious decisions on both sides of the map, honestly. Fnatic and Torpedo both getting very aggressive here, and it winds up with a tight game. Fnatic up just about 2,000. No, not at all. Yeah, just about 2,000 gold here for the red team. 5-2. Read the kills as we just passed our 10-minute mark.
Torpedo, they're surging forward though. Going to be looking for Zyrhoes. There's the Hun Batz ultimate, but Gap Shield in place. And actually,
Ouch.
Jifffy comes crashing down as well. He's going to return one kill. Zyrhoes returns the other. And now, Jifffy surging forward. He's looking for Korinyo, but Korinyo should be out. Torpedo, surprising aggression there. Not really knowing exactly, or not, I think not expecting Jiffy's ultimate to be up already.
Just well played by Fnatic. That engagement and the engagement, a couple of the engagements that we've seen in this game so far, Kevin, they're looking like a team, and I think that was one of the problems for Fnatic, why they find themselves at the bottom of the lineup, because they've been disjointed. Realzx and BigManTingz are just sort of doing their thing. Maniac is on a different page, and he's doing well, but he's on a different page. Zyrhoes is sometimes just in a complete different book, and, you know, Jiffy's still worrying about a library card. Coming to this week, everybody seems to be part of the same book club, right? Everybody's doing it, and that's what Fnatic need to continue. We're halfway through the season. We need to see more of the CC chain, more of the coming together, the target selection, and Fnatic, I think, will be able to find themselves in the middle of the pack.
You want to know what it is for me?
What's that?
This Thor jungle. Jifffy is actually just hitting his abilities now.
Yeah, it's working.
Like, before he was just whiffing. He honestly just whiffed all his stuff. Like, you go back and watch VODs, and he hits maybe 1 out of 10 Thor ults when he plays this card. This time, already online, I think he's connected 3 out of 4, and the only one he missed was where I think one player got knocked out of position at the mid-harpies, and it was just unfortunate. But, I mean, so far, he's just been looking like a much more complete player. Not the Jifffy that's going to carry and be a superstar, but he doesn't need to be a superstar, right? That's the thing coming into this. Captain Twig wasn't a superstar. The superstars on this team are Zyrhoes and Realzx.
Yeah.
You don't need 5 players to be the hardest carries possible and just secure all their kills. Sometimes you just need to set up for the players around you who can make those.
And, I mean, just look at Jiffy's build. Directly into the beat stick to deal with some of the healing coming out from the soul or whatnot. And the beat stick, the immediate penetration.
Bobat. Oh, actually, once again, Jifffy gonna connect. Bobat surging forward here. Hammer not used to chase, and now Fnatic, they're just splitting the map here. Gamehunter should fall.
Cataclysm used on one player. BigManTingz probably a little bit overboard, but
there was Eagles Rally. That was guaranteed, though. Gamehunter has no purification. It's a guaranteed kill if he can chain CC him with the Thor around him. Don't have to worry about Gamehunter potentially escaping.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I give that to you. I think BigManTingz did make the right decision there. Just ensuring the kill. Bellona causes so many issues in these fights, and by taking out the solo laner, you're going to get not just the tier 1, but because of the due diligence paid attention to the minions, the tier 2 is also going to take a little bit of damage. Not enough to get the tower, but don't forget, it's not even 14 minutes in. You're not supposed to get a tier 2 at this point.
Yeah, 2 tier 1s completed already, and now attempted steal on the blue buff, but Korinyo forces BigManTingz off, and once again, a wall from Jifffy. Not going to allow anyone to chase. Teleport coming in from Gamehunter, but no one's sticking around here, and Fnatic, they're just going to back off and concede. They probably want to take a trip to base and spin their gold.
And I like that choice. I think a lot of teams might have just stuck around and gone for the buffs, you know, cleared the jungle, especially after being chased off of a tower. Hey, we killed one, we pushed one out, we can take their jungle, but with the teleport in from Gamehunter, they would have been collapsed on. So Fnatic intelligently go ahead and back off, and with their recent wins, wind up about 6K up. Everything's looking good for Fnatic at the moment.
Everything's looking
5K.
Jifffy.
Yes.
I've been waiting for a moment to use that.
I mean, the best part is that's not even the way that works.
I
But
don't
like,
care.
exactly, you make your own.
Everything's Jifffy. Speaking of Jifffy, it's actually Reels we're going to be looking at. Looking at mezzing in place, allowing his team to close the gap on Murrdurr. Jifffy comes crashing down. Reels has already finished him off, though, and Fnatic find themselves with another pick. This has been a continued story. They're actually 5 members grouped on the left-hand side. They could look for a tier 1 tower, and I think that's what they're after.
Absolutely. With 3 players here for Torpedo, it might be harder than it sounds, though. NinjaBobat has his ultimate,
Watch
so
Jifffy.
does MoX. And there's the blink in from Maniac trying to make things happen immediately. He'll come over the top with the slow, and it's all just spacing. 3 players up front doing absolutely nothing but preventing anybody from looking at Reels.
Blink online right now for BigManTingz. He could be looking for it. There it is. He's
Double
going to find
stun.
2, looking for MoX. And actually, here comes Athena crashing down. Bobat wants to fight this. He's going to jump forward, but he's in the middle of 3.
And there's a lot of damage given to Boak. Reels winds up with the kill. Maniac pushing forward, Murrdurr. That's going to be problems for the Athena, but she won't take as much poke, I think, as she might have anticipated. Played it a little safe. She'll survive for her intelligence. So will the tier 2.
Oh,
Reels
no.
by himself. He's
Intelligence?
going to turn around, looking right towards it. So
What?
beautiful, claims the life and support. And now Mez not going to take the fight.
I don't think Murrdurr knows.
Retreat or aggress?
Oh, he's going in. It's Reels. No, he's going to play it safe. Fnatic making the smart decision, I think, making sure to kind of save themselves. He's going to be looking for Gamehunter, though, but that's just to force him off the tower. I don't think Murrdurr knows that when you taunt players, they auto-attack, and it's like guaranteed hits.
Well, it's not always guaranteed if you're curving when you taunt. Some of the basic.
I mean, every basic hit there.
Yeah.
And those were actually auto-attacks there, where it's like,
No, those were auto.
Reels is just like, he has no control.
I frequently make the distinction. I'm never the guy to really say auto attack. Those were auto attacks.
But now Torpedo down 2 kills to 11, and this is the Fnatic we've been looking for.
This like I said, they're playing together as a unit. They're playing together as a team. It's not Reels try to carry, Zyrhoes try to carry, Maniac trying to carry, and just crossing their fingers. Everybody's one unit. They're grouping up together for kills on players and objectives. Gold tier is going on. Torpedo, I mean, they just have no idea. There is vision. They have ideas.
They can't get
in.
in.
Just can't. They can't contest. They're down 8K at the time. Now almost 9K. Fnatic are off to a tear.
Torpedo are kind of taking awkward fights for me, right, when they're behind. Obviously, you want to fight like you're even, or especially under towers,
Right.
like you have a better engagement. But like even there on that tier 2, right? NinjaBobat blinks forward with an Athena ult on top, but it's just those 2 versus 5 players. Like, how are you going to win that? Obviously, they forced him off the tower, but they lost 3 more members. And right here, he's teleporting into Thor, and he just takes more damage in return. Double blink forward, and Jiffy's in the sky looking for him.
Jifffy cuts off the exit. NinjaBobat still alive. Stun not going to find. Zyrhoes almost get it from the backside. Stun onto Gamehunter, who finds himself
body blocks.
surrounded by Fnatic. Nowhere for him to go. Here comes Maniac. Double fearless into the power cleave. Reels gets 1, but Jifffy found on the back gets taken out. Maniac, though, 2 kills to 1. Fnatic leading this team fight. Still ongoing. Just pushing up
Maniac.
into the Phoenix. While the damage dealers take out the tower.
I mean, he was technically zoning, but I think he would have been fine. It really seems like Fnatic, a couple of their players are feeling themselves right now and going very deep by themselves. But Maniac, I mean, at 2, 0, and 8, he's been a part of 10 of 13 of Fnatic's kills. To be fair, he could probably afford feeling himself a little bit.
He's trying to fearless his teammate right over there. Reel's not gonna fall for it. Both players back. We'll see the purchases here. Marik's just trying to push up this wave. He knows that more minions up this lane will make it harder for the Phoenix to be taken. Although that's one of the problems that Torpedo have to look at. Between Apollo and Chronos, right? You've got 2 basic attackers. It's not the same situation as when Fnatic was building runic shields and witchblades on everybody last game. It's only 2. But what you have to be wary of is the fact that your towers are not strong.
I mean, they don't have any towers to worry about anymore.
Your Phoenixes are not strong.
I mean, Fnatic just took out all towers on the map by 18 minutes, and it hasn't even. No one's even looked at the Fire Giant until right now, where Torpedo are trying to gain ward coverage of it. But I mean, BigManTingz is just going to counter this up. And look at this, Real's just putting pressure on this side of the map, and he's actually going to go forward. MoX is going to be fine for the most part, but just poking him out, and this is going to force someone else to respond from Torpedo because MoX can't defend by himself.
Korinyo's here in the jungle, and the Sentry Wards from Fnatic. Luxury all over. Vision very deep for the guys on FNC. Gamehunter in the short lane, and it looks like the rotation from Fnatic are going to come over, knock away, but the ping is out. Gamehunter still in the lane, and everybody on Fnatic know it. Stun's going to miss. Zero's not going to get the CC. That's a problem, but the double Fearless will hit. Oh, it's just a single one. It's just Bellona all by herself, jumping away. And they got Eagles rally. That's a big win.
And Realzx just been split pushing the whole time. There's 4 members on the side of Torpedo over here to the right. Realzx can ult over anytime he wants, and it looked like BigManTingz was trying to force something. His blink was up once again, Cataclysm as well. He's been the aggressors for most of these engagements. Or Jifffy.
I want to see Torpedo able to turn this around. They're down over 10,000 gold, but this is one of those scenarios where I think a strong fight on the Fire Giant, just given the long range of the players, with good Fear No Evil, you can find 2 picks. Fnatic's not going to give them the opportunity, though. Not at all.
Bobat actually backed away here. Jifffy comes crashing down. He's just going to be zoning, and Bobat trying to do everything he can to keep Fnatic away from the rest of his team. He's going to fall, and everyone on Fnatic still feeling fresh.
Bobat's been reckless this game.
Reckless. That's a good word.
Not
only the teleport in the mid tower, the dive in 2v4 or 2v5 in the left-hand side, it just seems like he's off on his own.
Yeah, you know, Bobat's a great player. Maniac's off on his own, taking care of business. 1v3, he's probably honestly going to fall very low, and Torpedo playing the smart choice instead of going for the Fire Giant, going for the player. Moex takes that. 4 players on Fnatic with the Fire Giant, and I think that's totally fine.
Maniac feeling himself there. Mantle of Discord not enough to stop the damage coming out of Moex and Korinyo. Chin size online for Korinyo. Not too much damage for Moex there. Trying to finish off that Rod of Tahuti. Can we actually see Golden Hand real quick? So he should be able to finish here at about 200 gold. That's going to be very important for Torpedo to defend their Phoenixes, because they still do have the Stars Align comp, right? Like, look at it, right? Eagles Rally, big AoE. It's got a stun in the center, protections, Fear No Evil, big AoE, ultimate as well. Korinyo, the Suns. Moex has Supernova. It does a lot of damage, especially if you can get
this is the
Rod online.
This is the party animal comp. This is 100% the party animal comp, right? Fear No Evil comes down, turns on the music. Down come the Suns, that's your confetti. You want a disco ball? Supernova at a soul. This is the party animal comp. But Torpedo have not been having a party. They're having a siesta instead of a fiesta. They look asleep at the wheel, and Fnatic just starting the fights, ending the fights, making it happen. I mean, they pushed Torpedo out of their own jungle without even killing anybody.
So what's Zeusol? Is that like the rave lights going on?
The Zeusol? I mean, that's the fire alarm.
It's the strobe lights.
That's the fire sprinklers when you party too hard. Gold Fury absolutely for free. Fnatic catapult even further up. Let's take a look at the graphs after this one. What is it? 15K, 12K, 13,000. I mean, Torpedo, like I said,
it's a lot.
The composition does allow Torpedo the luxury of never fully being out of it, because Fear No Evil combined with a taunt, you are going to murder somebody. You can find 1 or 2 kills in that.
The problem is the person getting murdered in these fights is Murrdurr himself.
It's Murrdurr and Bobat. The 2 targets, Fnatic are choosing those 2 targets specific.
Fnatic have 14 kills. 10 of those are on NinjaBobat and Murrdurr this game. They've been the frontliners that have been trying to force stuff when they're behind, but the problem is there's been a lot of situations where like the follow-up just isn't there, or like they're like, oh, maybe we can kill them. Oh, we forgot they have a Geb shield. Oh, we forgot they have Cataclysm. They have knockups. They have stuff to deal with this, right? It's like, it feels like Torpedo, they're going into fights, and it feels like ranked, where like they're relying on the other players messing up, which, sure, Fnatic have not been performing at the level they need to. But I mean, especially after game 1, they've showed up. Jifffy has been hitting everything.
Yeah, I think you can depend on Fnatic to mess up going into game 1, but after game 2, you got to reflect and say, all right, Fnatic won that game.
They're here. They're here to play this set.
Game 1, Torpedo made a couple of mistakes, and that allowed Fnatic to capitalize. Game 2, Fnatic has just been very strong. They've been very adept at finding these fights and finding these kills, and they're up 14-4.
Now, Murrdurr here, frontlining as Fnatic push forward into this Phoenix. Torpedo, it's not going to be easy to hold here.
Ooh.
It's not going to be easy at all. Fnatic, they're just looking for their opportunity. They don't want to risk throwing. They know, too. They know that Torpedo's composition is based around these big team fighting ultimates.
A well-placed Fear No Evil to push people into a Phoenix.
The counter blink.
Rough. Love the counter blink coming out of Torpedo, but too much damage. That's a good fear, no evil.
No, there's no
follow-up.
follow-up, though. Like, that's the thing. No one's in position. Jifffy comes crashing down. He's zoning a couple members off. Bobat and Moix, they're here. Gamehunter in the back line. But, I mean, the Phoenix is already dead. Now, Gamehunter, he's stuck in the wall. He's forced the Eagles rally away. All these ultimates are being used one at a time. Supernova as well. It connects and tickles players.
3 seconds to take down this Phoenix, and it wasn't fully focused on by the basic attackers. I mean, these Phoenixes are just melted. And here comes Torpedo with their last sort of defensive set. Fnatic will take the fight. Zyrhoes able to put down Korinyo. Real's able to put down Bobat. Gamehunter now being focused. He's tanky, but does it matter? Looks like it will. Find safety in the fountain, but the Titan doesn't have the same luxury. Damage coming out from Fnatic is a little bit low, so they're wary, and they will retreat. Not going for the win here, and I like that play.
Playing it real safe. 2 members still down, but they want to spin their gold. They know it's going to be very hard for Torpedo to kind of match the pressure once the fire minions start raining in.
Yeah, I mean, I like this play from Fnatic simply because Murrdurr and Moix combined do tons of AoE damage, and you're grouped up on the Titan. Somebody's going to aggro the Titan. Somebody's going to die. There's too many what-ifs. There's too many somebodies can do this is for Fnatic to really focus on that final objective. So retreat, buy something. Y'all got $8 million in your pockets. Finish up your builds, and then Fnatic will go for the win. They got to be worried, though. They don't have the luxury of the numbers advantage, and specifically the Hun Batz advantage.
And now, Zyrhoes, not going to pick up the blue buff, has a red buff to secure. Actually, not backing at all. I mean, he's been farming. He's just been farming up. Real's going to push out some of the lanes. This does give Torpedo a little bit of time to kind of finish off some items that maybe they need before the big fight, right? They have Frostbound Hammer online for Gamehunter. Titan's Bane was finished up by NinjaBobat. And Korinyo working on Titans as well.
Yeah, the reason we saw Zyrhoes taking out those back cams, wanted to finish off the full Polynomicon. Used every last bit of gold, actually, to pick up that poly. Tier. 4 levels up against the NinjaBobat monkey. Not going for it, either of them. Maniac just jumping, daring Torpedo to come in and initiate on him.
18,000 gold right now, and this is raw, right? Because Fnatic, every one of them just finished their builds, which means that's just 18,000 that they have ahead, right? It's not like it's 30 minutes in where they finished their builds 5-10 minutes ago, right? This is just flat a raw advantage, and now they have Fire Giant in hand as well. No Phoenixes left standing, and they're not going to be spawning for at least another minute. Fnatic, they just want to walk in and fight.
Yeah, this is a very uphill battle for Torpedo. They got to fight underneath their Titan. The Titan hits very hard. A good fear no evil. Maybe even push somebody into a fountain. That's not going to happen. But push them. Step in between the basic attacks of Fnatic and their Titan. Convince the Titan to actually attack the enemy players. A lot of damage can be dealt. This is an opportunity. Given the comp, Torpedo, don't throw in the towel here. They can take this.
There it is. Blink in. Fear no evil used as well, but I mean, no follow-up from the rest of the team. Jifffy takes to the sky. Maniac to the back line. He's going to take out one with the help of Realzx. Jifffy looking to get a little bit of the action on the dead monkey as well. Sun's on top of the Titan, but it's being pulled to the right side, sitting at 4,000 health. It's just not enough coming out from Torpedo. Fnatic, they're going to take out one more. 3 left to defend, but this is going to be Fnatic. Finally, it seems looking back in form, and they're going to walk away with a 2-0 over Torpedo.
2-0 for Fnatic over Torpedo, sure. Don't think I didn't miss all of the basic attacks funneling into the players while their sanctuaries are up in the fountain instead of on the Titan. But a win is a win, and Fnatic wind up on top for the first time in a long time. Torpedo, they had some moments, but unfortunately for them, unable to find the wins here. Fnatic looking very strong. I mean, game number 1, you were talking a lot about Jifffy. Who are you looking at in game number 2?
I think it was the team as a whole, but once again, it's just Jifffy. Like, he's hitting his stuff now, and that's the thing. You look at the best team in the world, Panthera, right?
Yeah. Every
single one of them could be a superstar on their own team, but you know who the true, like, they don't all play like superstars, right? Sometimes Yamin is there to support adapting. He could be an all-star mid laner. He doesn't need to be. All you need is you need 2 players to hard carry, and everyone else is just set up for them, peel for them, and kind of play around that style of composition. And that's what Jifffy is doing. He had less damage than Geb there. I think 5 minutes before the game ended. I don't know how it ended at the fall of the Titan, but it's just he was playing setup. He came crashing down. He hit his abilities, and he set up for his team.
We'll take a look at First Blood. This one started a little bit early on. Honestly, the whole game started a little bit early on. A lot of pressure from Torpedo in the mid lane on Zyrhoes.
Look at this. Boom. Finds 2, followed up perfectly. And Zyrhoes finds the last auto attack. Maniac comes over as well, just in case the fight breaks out even further. But Torpedo, they're on full retreat at that point, and it's over.
Yeah, exactly. And again, very entertaining to see the First Blood come off of a counter engagement. I think that really shows you intelligence levels and how the teams can sort of find those windows of opportunity. Realzx played very well on his natural Apollo, coming through on the physical Hunter. Very strong game from Realzx.
And this is just Realzx playing well, positioning well, same as he always does. We talked about it in game 1. He just finds the auto attacks. He makes sure to have that space. And here's Murrdurr taunting him forward. I guess he thought Moex had the damage to finish him off, but he didn't have Supernova up, so he couldn't finish him off. And then he comes crashing down just as he actually waits for the Athena ult to finish off, so he can hit both players, and then just to the back line every single time.
Realzx on fire this game. Whole team, honestly, just really killing it. Loving it. I just like what's going on here with Fnatic against Torpedo. Torpedo, they struggled a little bit. Where can we see Torpedo pick it up?
I mean, the players were just on different pages once again. It really just seems lackluster. It seems like Torpedo, like early game, they always have a strategy, right? And it always seems to work out for the most part. But the rotations are always a little bit slow. It's always the Maniac beating Gamehunter, right? It's always Realzx beating Moex. Now, to be fair, Realzx was on Apollo in that last game. But still, like, the rotations have to be there a lot faster. And you also have to be aware of when you can fight and when your team is in position to fight. Because Bobat was just going in by himself in a lot of those situations late game. And it's like, if your team all uses their ultimates at once, right, maybe you still lose the fight, but you have a much better chance.
Exactly. It's about setting yourself up for success or for victory. And with that, we're going to talk to one of our players after the game. Hello and welcome to the SPL desk.
Hello.
Are we there just yet?
Nope.
Hello?
Wait. Hello.
Hey,
Hello,
it's
guys, what up?
Maniac, solo
Okay,
laner
it's me, what
for Fnatic. Congratulations on your wins. How you doing, buddy?
Thank you. I'm doing fine. You know, we just won, so feeling pretty happy.
So talk to me a little bit about the problems you guys were having. To me, it looks like Jifffy was kind of struggling to transition into the SPL. Do you guys feel like that was it too, or is there another reason that, you know, everything wasn't firing for you guys?
I mean, obviously, like, we're a new team now with both BigMan and Jifffy on the team, so takes a few matches. I mean, a few months, weeks or months to get used to the SPL, especially for the new players. So yeah, I mean, like, step by step we're getting there. So yeah, Jifffy and BigMan been improving every week. So yeah, hopefully we just from here now we just keep getting better.
I mean, you guys are sitting number 8, unfortunately, with those wins. That'll help you bring yourself up. What's it like being down there, and what's your disposition on the future for the team? It's been a long time since you guys have been on the bottom.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, there's gonna be like the SPL break this week, so we're gonna practice even harder, and then we'll try to have a better second half of the season of the split this time. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Now I know it's a very long shot, as you are the only team with double-digit losses heading into this match. Do you think somehow you can make DreamHack, or is that? I mean, it's a long shot, but do you believe you could?
I mean, as long as mathematically it's possible, I mean, I always believe it. So, you know, there's always a chance. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna fight for it.
Awesome.
I like to hear that. Now, before I let you go, one last question: your overall thoughts, and I want you to be as honest as possible. Your overall thoughts on this roster versus the Fnatic roster from the fall split. How do you feel about Jifffy and BigManTingz and everything Fnatic?
I think the roster is pretty similar. I mean, when we started the old roster like 2 years ago on the not SPL. I mean, before, I don't know the name.
After
like before
launch
SPL.
tournament, yeah,
exactly. I mean, we had pretty much the same problems. Like we had like the worst possible start ever, and then like game by game, week by week, we just keep getting better until we got to kickoff LAN, win it, and then made it to regionals. Get second place on regionals, and then make it to worlds. So it's like it's a work in progress. So I think that both teams are really similar. So of course, like, we had a pretty good team when we disbanded. Our team was pretty good when we disbanded still, but we're getting there step by step.
All right, well, glad to hear it. Any shout-outs before we let you go?
Just to my teammates and Fnatic, of course, and all the sponsors and the fans. Yeah, that's it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That's Maniac all the way from Portugal, short laner or solo laner for Fnatic. They just won 2 games in a row over their opponent Torpedo, and that's going to change the standings.
Rocketing right up to 5th. Now, to be fair, they've actually had the most games in the SPL,
Yep.
next to Panthera to close out the first half of the European spring split here. Still, though, it feels nice, right? Even though they've had, more games, it's kind of just, it feels nice to go from 8th to 5th, right?
100%. Absolutely 100%. Even if it's just in the numbers, as you can see. Fnatic, Fnatic won that one, 2-0 above Torpedo. I'll have to change that in the back a little bit later. But Luminosity versus Randozos will be coming next. Randozos have yet to find a win. They're definitely struggling and trying to find their footing. Luminosity, what's going to be the hardest thing for Randozos heading up against LG?
The hardest thing is making the transition from early to mid game, because that seems like even in the old roster, like the early game was always pretty solid. Like I said it last time, the word for them is brawl, right?
Mm-hmm.
They know how to brawl. They know how to fight. They know how to team fight. Their players are very good at actually rotating compared to even some of the upper echelon of the SPL. They're just always willing to fight, but it's making that transition and taking those advantages and making them big leads that they really struggle at.
Kevin wants a brawl. I want a melee. Let's see how these two teams come together and
I want a melee
smash
too.
right after the break.
I want a melee too. No, don't